For thousands of years, the galaxy had been ruled by a coalition of alien species known as the Concord. They controlled the stars with a firm grip, crushing any sign of rebellion and treating all lesser species with disdain. The alien races believed they were the supreme rulers of the galaxy, the last and most powerful civilizations in existence. But their confidence was about to be shattered. It all began when a small, unremarkable team of Concord archaeologists made a routine expedition to a long-forgotten planet on the edge of the galaxy. They had no idea that their discovery would change everything. The planet, known as Orithos, had been uninhabited for centuries. The Concord thought little of it, just another dusty world with nothing of interest. But as they began to dig through the ruins of an ancient city buried beneath the sand, they uncovered something extraordinary, strange, advanced technology that no alien species had ever seen before. At first, it appeared to be nothing more than an abandoned laboratory with broken machines and dusty terminals. But as they dug deeper, the scale of the discovery became clear. The technology they uncovered was far more advanced than anything the Concord had. It wasn't just the machines, it was the architecture, the weapons, and the knowledge contained in the hidden archives. They discovered star maps, hyperdrive blueprints, and even a weapons system so powerful that the Concord had no word for it. These weren't the remains of just any ancient civilization, they were the remnants of humanity. The Concord leaders were stunned. They had never even considered the possibility that humans once ruled the stars. According to their records, humans had disappeared long before the rise of the Concord, their empire wiped out by a mysterious force. The idea that humanity could have been so powerful, so advanced, was unfathomable to them. Commander Ikar of the Zorathians, the most influential species in the Concord, immediately ordered the artifacts to be taken back to their home planet for analysis. The scientists were baffled. How could a species as primitive as humanity have created this? They had always believed humans were a scattered, insignificant race, destroyed in a war long ago. But now, it was clear that humans had once ruled the stars, creating vast fleets and advanced technology. As the Concord continued to study the human ruins, they uncovered something even more shocking: a final message. The message was simple but clear: "We will return at first." The Concord laughed off the message as nothing more than the fanciful hope of a forgotten species. But soon, reports began flooding in from other parts of the galaxy. Strange signals were being picked up from unexplored regions. Ships that had disappeared without a trace were reappearing, and many of them had human symbols painted on their sides. The Concord was no longer sure what to believe. The power of the human empire had been buried for centuries, but it was beginning to resurface. On the far side of the galaxy, a group of human descendants who had been living in exile for generations learned of the discovery. They were part of a secret society known as the Reclaimers, dedicated to finding out the truth about their ancestors and restoring humanity's rightful place in the galaxy. They had always believed that humanity's fall was not due to defeat, but a deliberate choice, a decision to abandon the galaxy to prevent it from being destroyed by their own power. When the message from Orithos reached them, they knew it was time to act. The human descendants, once scattered and isolated, now realized they had the key to restoring the lost empire of humanity. They began gathering forces, preparing to return to the stars and reclaim what was once theirs. The Reclaimers were small in number, but highly skilled. They had lived in the shadows for centuries, hiding from the alien empires that had taken control. They were well aware of the dangers they would face, but their resolve was unshakable. With the power of the forgotten human technology at their fingertips, they set out to reawaken the empire that had been lost for so long. The Concord, meanwhile, was divided. Some factions wanted to keep the discovery of humanity's power a secret, fearing the consequences if the truth got out. Others, led by Commander Ikar, wanted to crush humanity before it could regain its strength. The Zorathians, proud of their technological advancements, could not accept that a species they had always thought inferior could rise again to challenge them. But no matter how hard they tried to suppress the truth, the message spread. Human survivors, scattered across the galaxy, began to rally to the cause. They had waited for this moment for generations, and now they were ready to fight for their birthright. As the Reclaimers made their move, the galaxy was plunged into chaos. A war began to brew, one that would change the balance of power forever. The Concord, once confident in their dominance, were now facing an enemy they had underestimated: humanity. The Reclaimers, with the knowledge and technology of their ancestors, were prepared to take back what had been stolen from them. The final battle would come when the last remnants of humanity's empire returned to the galactic stage. The Concord, who had once believed they ruled the stars, now faced the truth: humanity was not gone. Humanity had never been defeated. They had simply disappeared, biding their time, waiting for the right moment to reclaim their throne. The stars would belong to humans once again. For centuries, the alien empire known as the Orlith ruled the galaxy with an iron fist. Their advanced technology and vast fleets made them the undisputed masters of the stars. No species dared challenge their rule, and the galaxy had settled into a quiet, predictable order. But all of that was about to change with a discovery no one saw coming. It began on the edge of the known galaxy, in an area far beyond the Orlith's usual expansion. A group of Orlith explorers had been tasked with surveying a long-forgotten star system. The system was located in a remote part of space where few ships dared to venture. But when their ship's sensors picked up strange readings from a planet that should have been dead, the team decided to investigate. When they arrived, they found something no one could explain. A massive, ancient human starship was floating in the system, seemingly abandoned for centuries. It was unlike anything the Orlith had ever seen. The ship's design was older than any known technology, but the materials it was made from were unlike any metals or alloys the Orlith had ever used. This ship should not have existed. The crew boarded the vessel cautiously, unsure of what they would find. The interior was covered in dust, and the air was stale, but the ship's systems were still active. They discovered that the ship was part of a much larger fleet, an entire armada of human warships, all hidden in the depths of space. But what was most shocking of all was the message that was left behind. The ship's main computer was still functional, and it contained a log from the human captain. It spoke of a time long before the Orlith had risen to power, when humanity ruled the galaxy. The captain's log revealed that humanity had once controlled entire star systems, building vast empires and fleets of unimaginable power. The Orlith had never known this history. They had always believed that humans were a primitive species, wiped out in some ancient war. But this log revealed the truth: humanity had not been destroyed. They had chosen to disappear. The message explained that humans had created technologies so powerful that they feared their own creations. They had seen how their power had begun to tear the galaxy apart. Unable to stop the chaos they had unleashed, humanity made a difficult choice to leave the galaxy behind. They erased all records of their existence and hid their fleets away, vanishing into the depths of space. The Orlith were stunned. How could this be true? They had never even heard of such a history. The idea that humans had once been the most powerful race in the galaxy was incomprehensible. The Orlith had always seen themselves as the pinnacle of civilization. The idea that there had been something more powerful before them shattered everything they believed. As the news of this discovery spread, other alien species began to take notice. Some were skeptical. They believed that the message was a hoax or that it had been fabricated by the Orlith to justify their dominance. But as more information was uncovered, it became clear that the human empire had been real. The logs contained star maps, advanced designs for weapons, and even hints of technologies the Orlith could only dream of. Meanwhile, on a distant planet, a group of human descendants living in secret learned of the Orlith's discovery. These humans had been living in hiding for generations, far from the reach of the powerful alien empires. They had always known that their ancestors had once been great, but they had never known how powerful humanity had truly been. When the descendants of humanity learned that the Orlith had found the remnants of their ancestors, they knew the time had come. They had waited long enough. They began to organize in secret, gathering what little knowledge they had of their past and preparing to take back what was rightfully theirs. The Orlith and other alien species had no idea that humans were still out there, hidden in the shadows, waiting for their moment to return. The Reclaimers, as they called themselves, were determined to uncover more of their ancestors' legacy. They knew that the Orlith would not let this discovery go unchallenged. So, they planned carefully, gathering technology from the old human ruins scattered throughout the galaxy and working in secrecy to avoid detection by the Orlith's vast network of spies. But as the Reclaimers grew in number and strength, so did the Orlith's fear. They had spent centuries building their empire, and they were not about to let some ancient human race return and take it all away. The Orlith began searching for the human descendants, hunting them down before they could rise up. They sent fleets across the galaxy, determined to find any trace of humanity and destroy it before it could become a threat. The first real battle came when the Reclaimers finally decided to reveal themselves. They launched a surprise attack on an Orlith research facility, freeing captured humans and sending a clear message: humanity was back, and they were not going to be silenced. The Orlith responded swiftly, sending their fleets to crush the rebellion before it could grow. The galaxy watched as the Reclaimers, armed with the technology and knowledge of their ancestors, began to fight back. They had long been underestimated, but now, the Orlith and other alien empires were seeing the true power of humanity. The battle raged across the stars, with both sides suffering heavy losses, but the Reclaimers were relentless. They were fighting for more than just survival. They were fighting to reclaim their legacy. The war that followed would change the galaxy forever. The Orlith, once so sure of their dominance, began to question everything they had believed. The Reclaimers, though outnumbered and outgunned, proved that humanity's legacy was not something to be forgotten. It was a power that would never die. In the end, the galaxy would never be the same. The Orlith were forced to make peace, and the Reclaimers began to rebuild humanity's empire, once thought lost to time. Humanity had returned not as the rulers of the stars, but as the heirs to a legacy that would never be forgotten. And as the stars shone brighter, the galaxy would always remember that the true power of the universe had never really left. It had only been waiting, hidden, waiting for the right moment to rise again. The galaxy had long been divided among powerful alien empires, each race claiming their right to rule the stars. The Elorians, with their advanced technology, dominated the trade routes. The Arcanites, fierce and brutal, controlled the outer rim. But through it all, there was one thing every alien species shared in common. They all believed that humanity was a long-lost species, destroyed in an ancient war. What they didn't know was that humanity had never been fully wiped out. Instead, they had chosen to vanish, leaving behind only the faintest echoes of their once great empire. The story began when a team of Elorian explorers discovered an uncharted planet deep in a forgotten star system. The planet, known as Zaroth, was rich in resources, yet it had never been explored. The Elorians had scanned it multiple times, but for some unknown reason, their attempts to detect life had always failed. This time, however, the scans picked up strange signals and anomaly no one could explain. The explorers decided to land and investigate. Upon arriving, they found a vast, abandoned city built by humans, yet older than any known human civilization. The city was covered in dust, but it was clear that the structures were solid and well-designed. What intrigued the Elorians most, however, was the discovery of a massive archive located beneath the city. There, the explorers found data logs and encrypted messages, and what they uncovered would change everything they thought they knew about humanity. The archive contained maps of the galaxy from thousands of years ago, showing the extent of the human empire. It stretched across hundreds of star systems, with massive fleets of ships protecting trade routes and colonies. The technology found within the archive was beyond anything the Elorians had seen. There were weapons capable of destroying entire planets, faster than light travel methods they could never replicate, and powerful energy sources hidden in strange artifacts. But the most shocking discovery was a simple, encrypted message. The message left by the last human rulers read, "We were not destroyed. We chose to leave." The Elorians were stunned. The idea that humanity hadn't been wiped out, but instead had voluntarily withdrawn from the galaxy, was unimaginable. The galaxy had always believed that a great war had ended humanity, leaving their technology to rot in the hands of the few survivors who were eventually lost to time. But this message suggested something different. Humanity had seen the consequences of their own power and chosen to vanish, leaving their empire behind. As the Elorians studied the message further, they learned that humanity had been aware of their own destructive potential. Their vast empire had become so powerful that it began to destabilize the galaxy. Civil wars broke out between different factions within the human empire, and the use of advanced weapons caused massive destruction. Fearing that their power would ultimately destroy the universe, humanity made the difficult decision to leave. But they didn't leave completely. Humanity had left behind hidden archives and secret vaults containing their most dangerous technology. The message from the last human rulers was a warning, but it was also an invitation. Humanity might have left, but they had left the door open for those who were worthy of finding their legacy. The Elorians immediately understood the implications of the message. The discovery was too valuable to ignore. If they could uncover more of humanity's lost technology, they could become the most powerful race in the galaxy. But they also knew the risks. The power humanity had once held was immense, and no one, not even the Elorians, knew how dangerous it could be in the wrong hands. As word spread of the discovery, other alien factions began to take notice. The Arcanites, known for their brutal ways, were the first to react. They feared that if the Elorians gained access to humanity's power, they would lose their grip on the galaxy. Meanwhile, smaller factions began searching for clues to the lost human legacy, hoping to claim whatever technology they could. The situation quickly became a race. Whoever uncovered more of humanity's technology would hold the key to galactic dominance. The Elorians, though technologically advanced, were not prepared for the challenges ahead. The archives they had found were just the beginning. There were rumors of hidden starships, weapons caches, and artifacts buried across the galaxy, waiting to be discovered. The deeper they dug, the more dangerous it became. But there was one problem the Elorians didn't anticipate. Humans were not as gone as they thought. While most of humanity had left, there were survivors, descendants of those who had chosen to remain behind. These humans had hidden in plain sight, living on forgotten planets, watching as the galaxy was taken over by alien empires. They had learned the harsh lesson of their ancestors and vowed to never let the galaxy forget the true legacy of humanity. The descendants, calling themselves the Echoes, had lived quietly for centuries, gathering knowledge and preparing for the day when they would reclaim their place among the stars. When they learned that the Elorians had uncovered their ancestors' secrets, they knew the time had come. The Echoes had no intention of letting the Elorians, or any other alien empire, use humanity's power for their own gain. They began to mobilize, finding ancient human ships hidden across the galaxy, readying themselves to fight for their legacy. Their leader, a descendant of the last human rulers, understood that the battle ahead would be difficult, but they were not afraid. They had the knowledge of their ancestors, the power of their ships, and the drive to restore humanity's rightful place. The Echoes knew that the galaxy would never be the same. The Elorians and other alien species were too entrenched in their power. But humanity had always been a force to be reckoned with, and the time had come to remind the galaxy of that fact. As the war for humanity's legacy began, the galaxy trembled. No one knew how it would end, but one thing was certain: the Echoes of the human empire would not be forgotten. They would rise again, not as conquerors, but as the rightful heirs to a legacy that had once ruled the stars. And this time, they would make sure the galaxy knew who the true rulers had always been. The galaxy had long been divided among many powerful alien species, each claiming its place in the stars. But no one, not even the most powerful of empires, could have known the truth about the ancient warships that lay hidden in the far reaches of space. These warships were relics from a time before the rise of the current galactic powers, and they carried with them the legacy of humanity's long-lost empire. The story began when a group of explorers from the Xerathian Empire, a race known for their advanced technology and curiosity, ventured to an uncharted sector of space. The sector was on the outermost edge of the galaxy, and the Xerathians had only recently begun to map the area. Their ship, the Vanguard, was equipped with the best sensors available, but even they could not explain the strange signals they detected coming from an ancient asteroid field. When they arrived, they found something astonishing: dozens of massive warships, buried deep within the asteroids. They were old, very old, yet somehow perfectly preserved. The ships were unlike anything the Xerathians had ever seen. Their designs were sleek, with smooth surfaces that seemed almost alive. The materials they were made of were beyond anything the Xarathians could identify. And most importantly, these warships carried no known markings or symbols. The Xarathians sent a team of specialists to investigate, hoping to uncover the secret of these ships. When they boarded one of the vessels, they found it to be eerily quiet. The interior was pristine, with advanced technology that seemed to pulse with power. Yet there were no signs of life, no crew, no inhabitants, only the strange, almost mystical energy that surrounded the warships. At the heart of the ship, they discovered a control room unlike anything they had ever seen. The walls were made of a transparent material that revealed complex systems beyond. There was a terminal at the center, and when one of the Xarathian engineers activated it, the ship's systems came to life. The console displayed a single encrypted message. The message was old, its language unfamiliar, but the engineers managed to decipher it using their advanced translation software. It was a simple warning, written by those who had once commanded these warships: "We will return." The Xarathians were stunned. They had never heard of such a message, and they could not understand what it meant. The warships were obviously human in design, but there was no record of humanity's existence in the galaxy for millennia. The galaxy believed humans had